the smoother of the jagged edge. I hope I've said it correct.
You have said it perfectly.
Where does that come from?
Okay, the truth is it came from here.
Oh,
was thinking
okay.
of, I was just thinking of something catchy to identify. I remember you actually said when you asked us when by Stephen said, what name are you going to go by on radio? I said JB.
Uh-huh.
That's me, JB. But then I thought I needed to give it a surname or something. So I guess that's what.
Oh, so that's the surname.
That's the surname. And I just thought let's smoothen things again.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you something, and I'm going to juxtapose this versus my experience.
All right.
In 2001, I got into radio, and I wanted to be that guy who plays music. I was also picturing myself, because I had a background of playing at parties and functions. I was picturing myself as the guy who would go on radio, promote himself, maybe buy a small car. In fact, it was not a small. I was thinking of Mercedes.
All right.
Remember we used to come with bags, CD
CDs and
bags.
stuff, yeah.
It would be in the boot. I go play in a club. I go play at a party. I drive off. That was me. That was me. The whole thing changed when I met Tsitsi Mawari.
All right.
And she told me the other side of radio that changes people's lives and whatnot. God rest her soul. She changed my life as well because of that. But first track, I then went on radio as a presenter. I was doing chat shows. I was doing music shows. I was doing a little bit of discussions. Yeah, but never in my head did I think some people would sit somewhere and say, lead a radio station.
Okay.
Never.
Yeah.
Never in my head. In fact, I'll tell you, when they told me to lead one, I laughed and I said, this is going to last for 3 months. I'm probably going to impart my knowledge, the little that I know, and then it's going to come to the issues of money. It's going to come to the issues of people management. I can't do that. I've never done that.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, I think it worked somehow.
It did.
So why am I telling you all this? When you came to Manikal Motoring Club and you aced the auditions, it was your eloquence, it was your, that everybody, I remember Comfort said, this man. But did you think that you would end up being at the helm of this station that you were auditioning for?
Never. Look, like I think kind of like you. Maybe I was never really looking to. I was never a DJ, like in the sense. I really came because I just felt there were stories to tell, and I wanted to capture the stories of our people. That's why maybe when I came, I said, look, I don't think I'll ever be on the presenter side. I wanted to be a news anchor, just reading, informing people about things. So never in my wildest dreams did I think that I would be heading a radio station or even involved remotely in the administrative side of radio. All I ever wanted was just to be out there communicating with people 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 times a day. It's only, and you know, also one thing, I remember I joked about this with you. I said when me and Messingwevu now we're getting our clearances by the police station, so it was the two of us. I said, Messi, they should give us the breakfast thing. But I'll tell you this, before I came for the audition and before the trainings in Harare, I didn't quite have the concept of knowing that perhaps being a breakfast presenter was maybe a better place than be a better shift, perhaps, or a higher shift, a more demanding shift than perhaps being a mid-morning presenter or a late. I didn't have that concept before. But then when it was hinted at, I said, damn, that's me. It is, for a crazy moment, I thought that could be me until again I was sober enough to know that it's not going to happen.
Okay, so now you're at the helm of the radio station itself, Diamond FM, and you are originally from here in Mutare. I know you're a wordsmith, I know you're a poet as well, but try and wrap it all up. How does that feel? What is that experience like?
It's humbling. It's so humbling when you know that you're part of something much bigger than yourself, and you're doing it amongst your own people. People we like. Most of the listeners who listen to us, they're people who have known since childhood. But then when they come to you and speak about the impact that radio is doing in their lives, in the community, both in entertainment and development, and you know that I'm an integral part of that. It's amazing.
So tell me about that. Somebody actually wrote to me last week and they said, would like to hear from you the impact that these local radio stations have had in their communities. Obviously, this is something that you eat, sleep, and drink every time. What are the effects or what are the impacts that you can easily tell me off the top of your head that you've seen happening in Mutare?
Well, I'll tell you something, like just facilitating engagement between authorities and, like, I'll give you a quick example. Here in Mutare, the main service provider is the city of Mutare. We have kind of like facilitated for them to be more accessible to people. Right now, as I'm speaking, now people know who the chief executive officer of the city is. That's the town clerk. And they can walk up to him and talk to him. And he has come here, and last night he was here, and he has attested to that, to that effect, that now we have this rapport with communities. Then I can talk about issues like during Cyclone Idai, you know, how this place became a rallying place where charity organizations, well-wishers from Lawayo, from Cholocho, they had a few extra blankets to give. They came through Diamond FM, and our printing facility here, we are housed in the same building with the Manike boss. Our printing facility here, for a season, it was changed into a warehouse, and trucks upon trucks came here. So it kind of like became a depot of, you know, we see this when relief organizations across the world, the United Nations agencies, WFP, they go out there and they're marshalling aid into a particular community. This became, for a season, a stop center of sorts, and we saw lots of people who ordinarily wouldn't come to provinces like this. Ambassadors, European, Western ambassadors, they came here. Asian ambassadors, they came here. African diplomats, they came here. The American ambassador was here. So for us to say we became a rallying point, they came from our and say we go to Diamond FM, and then the second leg of our journey will start from there. Amazing impact for me.
Wonderful. You cannot speak about radio without speaking about the artists. What has that done? What has Diamond FM done? Being here now, what has that done for artists in Mutare? Are they appreciative? What do they say?
Well, I know. Look, there's always the feelings will always be mixed, because there are some who think we're not playing them enough, and then there are others who maybe they would think we are overplaying them. But I'll tell you, for some who have emerged from here, I'll give you an example of Dorcas Moyo. She has become a nationwide sensation.
Absolutely.
Is one of the people who was really discovered and premiered on Diamond FM.
Sure.
We got a lady who I'm very passionate about in terms of her artistic work, Ruth Jackie. She's doing very well. Actually, as I'm speaking now, she's got back-to-back bookings in gigs, Kwana, Kugawa, Guarara, but she's original from here, and we've been playing her and giving her that exposure, and we have those relationships as well. So, and I know for a fact that even as I'm speaking right now, one of our own guys, our marketing guy, is actually training artists on brand management. So that's a relationship that our personalities here have also had with the community, and it's come by extension. That is Diamond FM being extended to them through our personalities there.
You come from Sakuva, and I think when you mention Mutare, the next place that rings in people's heads, of course there's Nangamvura, but Sakuva will be the one that resonates. A lot of talent has come out of Sakuva. I think one of the most historic, well, not such in a good light, was the concert that happened, Misty and Roots concert. But a lot of other historic stuff has happened at Sakuva Stadium, and some amazing soccer matches. But my issue is to do with Sakuva. You are from Sakuva. You are leading the one and only radio station in Mutare, where some of the presenters are actually from Sakuva. Does being from Sakuva give you an added advantage? Because it looks like that's the epicenter of Mutare. And what does this mean to the community of Sakuva and the community at large, that one of their own in Sakuva is now running the radio station?
I think when you came here, one of the first things you told us was being that a radio or Diamond FM is an aspirational radio station. So for me, I think it shows the people in Sakuva that anything is possible. You see, they see me, they look at me now in this particular light, and most of them, or maybe especially those close to me, have seen me also in worse circumstances, and they've seen the transition that has come from just reaching out and having a place in the platform where you can be afforded the chance for your dreams to come true. So it inspires a lot of people. You can't imagine the amount of people who just walk up to me and just start up a conversation. It's so basic, it's so rudimentary. They're speaking to the boy from the hood, but they're talking about how you are occupying that office now and that journey. So for me, it like I said, it's so humbling. It reminds me and it keeps me rooted that, look, if this can be possible for me, it can be possible for anybody. And I hope that it encourages other people to just pursue their dreams. But you spoke about also how then it makes a lot of things easy. It has helped me in terms of content. I remember one of the most successful, especially in digital space, one of the most successful interviews we've ever had was with Buya South, the late. But for me, connecting her to everybody else was so simple because she was somebody I could walk up to. She's part of my. The challenge perhaps was that I couldn't see the celebrity in her until I came to radio. Because then I'm looking at her from the prism of journalism. Because she was just Buya South from down the road. I sometimes would avoid her. Like Buya South is coming. Then we would, because she would always have a quip to say. But then when I look at her from the prism of a journalist, I said, well, this is the content that we're looking at. And I say, maybe the one thing that makes me feel guilty is perhaps I haven't done enough to celebrate Madam Koma Peter Mburu. They are icons from Sakuva. Koma Boswo Nyamondera. Koma Boswo's house is actually 200 meters away from where I grew up. 200 meters. Same Tower. 60 meters away from where he was born. 60 meters. So those were some of the people who I feel maybe now that I'm here, I need to come to a space where I celebrate them more and make sure that we help them be really recognized. I know that nationally they are recognized, but perhaps to really immortalize them, if that's a word. And that for me is perhaps my last debt, the debt that I owe Mutare.